Sorry, I need a potato.
You a potato?
I need a potato pot.
Oh my god, you're playing Farmville.
Yeah.
That's my eyebrow.
Okay.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dr. Charles here, and we're getting ready to pick up with episode 2. Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dr. Charles here, and today we're going to continue with the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy, and we're going to jump right in here and pick up where we left off so that we can save Larry Butts from prison for murder. For murder!
But I believe the accused motive is clear to everyone. I believe the accused motive is clear to everyone.
No, now you're like slightly British. Where did that come from?
How do I?
You lost your voice. You had it.
I wasn't a nerd in school, so I don't know
Oh,
how
well,
to
now
do
you're going to
this.
make it personal. Okay. Yeah, it's just like you had it. And, yes, quite. Oh, boy. This is so not looking good.
Next question.
Better.
You went to the victim's apartment on the day of the murder, did you not?
Gulp!
Well, did you or did you not?
Well, maybe I did and maybe I didn't. Uh-oh, he went. What do I do? What do we do?
I feel like we should have him answer honestly.
Have him answer honestly. All right. We're
I
letting
don't
you
know.
play. I know. I'll send him a signal. Tell the truth. Yeah, I was there. I went. Order! Well, Mr. Butts. Dude, chill. She wasn't home, man, so, like, I didn't see her.
Your Honor, the defendant is lying.
Lying?
The prosecution would like to call a witness who can prove Mr. Butts is lying.
Well, that simplifies matters, so of course we should have a witness. Who is your witness?
The man who found the victim's body.
You're slowly starting to sound
Don't
like
know.
Mario and Luigi. The victim's body.
Well, I'm trying to like suck in and
Yeah,
talk
there you
through
go.
my
You're just like,
nose.
yeah.
Just before making the gruesome discovery.
Oh, wow, you've really... Voice acting 101, people. He saw the defendant... wait, no, this is Payne. This is you.
He saw the defendant fleeing from the crime scene of the crime.
The crime scene of the crime. Saw him leaving the crime scene of the crime. Order! Order in the court. Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
You gonna take a puff off your inhaler, too? I had asthma, people. It's okay. I can say that. This is bad.
On the day of the murder, my witness was selling newspapers at the victim's building. I don't know what's going on.
What do you mean?
Wait, what is... So wit? Please bring Mr. Frank Sawit to the stand.
Yes, saw it.
Sawit.
Oh.
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 This is
The
no.
witness.
Mr. Sawit, you sell newspaper subscriptions. Is this correct?
Oh yes, newspapers, yes.
Mr. Sawit, you may proceed with your testimony. Please tell the court what you saw on the day of the murder. Here's the witness testimony. Pay attention.
Okay.
All right, you ready? Okay, I was going door to door selling subscriptions when I saw a man fleeing an apartment. You need to look for a contradiction. I thought he must be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. Thinking it strange, I looked inside the apartment. Then I saw her lying there, a woman, not moving, dead. I felt in fright and found myself unable to go inside. I thought to call the police immediately, however the phone in her apartment wasn't working. He said he didn't go inside to use the phone. So that's something to check out. So I'm pressing. The phone in her apartment wasn't working. Oh, I should have read that in the voice.
Yes, I mean, no, it wasn't. right?
But you said you didn't go into the apartment. Or did you?
Oh, that? I can explain that. There was a cordless phone on a shelf in the entranceway. I reached inside and tried using that to call.
And that phone wasn't working, correct? What happened next?
Okay, so
I went to a nearby park and found a public phone. I remember the time exactly. It was 1 p.m.
so do you want to like look at anything? We can bring up the court record. Gotta remember which button it is. That enter or is that So here we go. So we've got time of
The time of death between 4 and 5.
right, and he said that he remembers the time it was at 1.
Yeah.
So do you want to present that?
Yeah.
See how this works?
Yeah.
You found the body at 1 p.m. You're sure?
Yes, it was 1 p.m. for certain.
Frankly, I find that hard to believe. Your statement directly contradicts the autopsy report. The autopsy notes the time of death at some time after 4 p.m. There was no body to find at 1 p.m. How do you explain this 3-hour gap?
This is trivial. The witness merely forgot the time.
Nope. After his testimony, I find that hard to believe. Mr. Sowit. I find that hard to believe. Send him to the range. Thank you, PewDiePie, for that. Why were you so certain that you found the body at 1 p.m.?
Gee, that's a really good question, isn't it?
Great job, Wright. Way to put him on the spot. Did she ever smile?
No, she's very fierce.
This is all you have to do. Point out contradiction.
This is essentially the tutorial.
Oh. Lies always beget more lies. This is the longest tutorial. See through one and their whole story falls apart,
Well,
right?
It's also a episode itself, but it's like a tutorial episode.
Wait, I remember now.
Would you care to give your testimony again? So now he's going to alter his testimony. There you go.
You see, when I found the body, I heard the time. There was a voice saying the time. It was probably coming from the television. Oh, but it was 3 hours off, wasn't it? I guess the victim must have been watching a video of a taped program. That's why I thought it was 1 p.m. Terribly sorry about the misunderstanding.
Does anything seem fishy to you? I see. You heard a voice saying the time on a taped program. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Right? You know what to do.
I've got this one. Anything glare at you when you said that?
The TV, I guess.
You see, when I found the body, I heard the time. There was a voice saying the time. It was probably coming from the television. Oh, but it was 3 hours off, wasn't it?
Pull up the evidence. So we've got the attorney's board. Cindy's autopsy report. So we got the cause of death. You already pressed him on that. Blunt force trauma. This is the weapon. Statue. I think.
I got you.
Passport of the victim showing. Okay, and then the blackout record. Electricity. Her building was out from noon until 6 p.m. on the day of the crime.
Well, if the electricity was out, then the TV wasn't on.
There you go.
I'm so smart. Maybe I should go to law school.
Yeah. Hold it right there. The prosecution has said there was a blackout at the time of the discovery. And this record proves it. You couldn't have heard a television or a video.
Yeah!
Big oof.
The defense has a point. They have a point. I'm a judge. I know things. Do you have an explanation for this, Mr. Sowit?
No, I find it quite puzzling myself. Quite. Ah! Wait, I remember now! Mr. Sawit, the court would prefer to hear an accurate testimony from the very beginning, you nincompoop. These constant corrections are harming your credibility. I'm a judge, I would know that. That, and you seem rather sweaty and distraught. Yeah. My apologies, Your Honor. It's error. It must have been the shock of finding the body. Very well, Mr. Sawit, that's believable. I would know. I'm a judge.
Wait, pause. So, is the whole first episode about this murder, or are there more?
Yeah, well, there are more within... So, there are multiple cases within each game, and there are 3 games in this trilogy I bought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is one case.
Because we're getting ready to solve this murder.
Yeah, we're getting...
Let's hear your testimony once more, please. Hearing the time. Actually, I didn't hear the time after all. I saw it! There was a table clock in the apartment, wasn't there?
Oh. There was a table clock in the apartment, wasn't there? Okay.
Yeah, the murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim.
False!
That must have been what I saw.
No!
You saw a clock? I guess that would explain it. Mm-hmm. I'm a judge. The defense may cross-examine the witness. Gladly.
All right. Cross-examination again. Hearing the time.
No. The murder weapon was not a clock.
Actually, I didn't hear the time. I saw it. There was a table clock in the apartment, wasn't there? Yeah, the murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim. That must have been what I saw.
So then you can like cycle back to statements he's made to press or to present evidence.
Let's press it.
Alright.
A table clock. Was there a clock at the scene? This is the first I've heard of it!
Alright. That must have been what he saw. Now find
Now
it.
find the contradiction. I think
Alright,
that's the
so let's-
contradiction.
We can present the statue of the thinker.
Objection!
Try that out.
Wait just a moment. The murder weapon wasn't a clock, it was this statue. Now how is this supposed to be a clock? What? You with your objections and your evidence and your law degree. Just who do you think you are?
Why did I get fingerprints?
Just okay.
Just answer the question, Mr. Sawit. Hey, I saw it there, okay?
He was also wearing gloves at the intro video, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Hey, I saw it there, okay? That's a clock.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, Mr. Payne.
As the witness stated, the statue is indeed a clock. The neck is a switch, and you just tilt it, and it says the time out loud. As it doesn't look like a clock, I submitted it as a statue. My apologies. No!
I see. So the murder weapon was a table clock after all.
But it.
But
Well, Mr. Wright, it appears that the witness's testimony was correct. This is a clock. Do you have any problems with this testimony now?
Yes!
Your Honor, there is a gaping hole in the witness testimony. The only way he could have known the weapon was a clock is to hold it in his hand. Yet the witness testified that he never entered the apartment. Clearly a contradiction.
And the attorney, Mr. Payne, said that the neck says the clock out loud, but he's still saying that he saw it.
well, no, he. Oh yeah, after he said that he.
Boom!
Yeah, so he's
Boom!
lying. Yep.
Indeed. The witness knew it was a clock because he
He knew it
went
was a
into the
clock.
apartment.
Yep.
You're lying. You were inside the apartment on the day of the murder. Oh yeah? Prove it! Prove it I went there! I'll do better than that. I can prove you were the one who killed her. You struck her with the clock, and the shock of the blow triggered the clock's voice. That was the sound you heard. Order in the court. Intriguing. Please continue, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Sowett, the sound must have left quite an impression on you. Understandable, since the murder weapon spoke just as you hit the victim. That voice was burned into your mind. That's why you were so certain about the time.
What's the meaning of this? This is all baseless conjecture.
Baseless? Just look at the witness' face. Look at that mole! Would the witness care to elaborate? Did you strike the victim with the clock? That day, I never. Look, the clock. I heard. No, I mean I saw. What? Shut up, I hate you! It was him, I tell you. I saw him. He killed her and he should burn. Burn! Give him death.
Dramatic.
Order in the court, I say.
Your Honor, a moment, please. There isn't a shred of evidence supporting the defense's claims.
Mr. Wright, Your Honor, you claim the sound of the witness heard came from the clock. Do you have any evidence? The whole case is riding on this. I better think it through carefully. Your Honor, the sound Mr. Sowett heard was definitely this clock. A fact which is clear if you simply... Let's sound the clock now, here in this courtroom. Your Honor, may I have the clock? I asked the court to listen very carefully. I think it's 8:25. That certainly is a strange way to announce the time. I would know, I'm a judge. Well, he is the thinker. After all. So we've heard the clock. What are your conclusions, Mr. Wright? Mr. Payne, can you tell me what time it is now?
It's 11:25. Ick!
As you can see, this clock is exactly 3 hours slow.
Oh,
Precisely the discrepancy between what Mr. Sowett heard and the actual time of death. So, Mr. Sowett, try to talk your way out of this one. Ha! You forgot one thing. Uh-oh. What's he talking about now? While it may seem like that clock is running 3 hours slow, it proves nothing. How do you know it was running 3 hours slow on the day of the murder? If you can't prove that, you don't have a case. He's right. How am I going to prove that? So close. Mr. Wright? It seems you lack the critical evidence to support your claim. Yes, Your Honor. This means I cannot let you indict the witness. Unfortunately, this is in the cross-examination of Mr. Frank Sowett. I come all the way down here to testify, and look what happens. You treat me like a criminal. A criminal!
you are a criminal.
You lawyers are all slime. Grr, I almost had him. Did we lose? Sorry, Larry. I failed you. There's nothing I can do about it now.
Not so fast, Mr. Sowett.
Sweat, gasp. Chief!
Listen up, Wright. Don't throw this one away. Not like this. Think.
But Chief, it's over. I can't prove the clock was slow the day of the murder. Nobody can prove that.
Well, yes. But that doesn't mean you can't still win. Try thinking outside of the box. Don't waste time doubting the facts. Assume the clock was 3 hours slow and think through it. Ask yourself, why was the clock 3 hours slow? Figure out the reason and you'll have your proof. Right? Can you think of a reason as to why the clock would be 3 hours slow? Yeah, let's just put yes.
Wait! Maybe I can prove it.
You must have evidence somewhere that can prove it, right? Find it and let them have it.
Well, Mr. Wright, you say the clock was already running slow on the day of the murder. Have you found evidence to support this claim? Of course. There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can prove my claim beyond a doubt. Ha! Tough words! Let's see you pull this one off. Let's see the evidence that proves why the clock was running slow.
Okay, so we've got the attorney's badge, Cindy's autopsy report, so that's the time she died. We have the statue itself. We have her passport, where she arrived. And then we have the blackout record.
Passport. So she arrived home from Paris on 7:30. Go back to her date.
So the day before the murder. Think more, you were right. Think of more where from she's coming.
She's not from Paris.
So there's going to be
A time lag.
Yeah, time difference.
Yeah.
The victim had just returned home from abroad the day before the murder. As we all know, the time difference between here and Paris, all of us, is 9 hours. When it's 4 p.m. here, it's 1 a.m. the next day there. That clock wasn't 3 hours slow, it was 9 hours fast. The victim hadn't reset her clock since returning home. That's why the time you heard when you struck her dead in the apartment was wrong. Proof enough for you, Mr. Sowit. Or should I say, Mr. Did It?
Oh, he's foaming up now. He passed out.
Oh.
He's gone. He died.
Need.
Order! Order, I say! Well, this case has certainly turned out differently than we all expected. Mr. Payne, your witness?
He was arrested and has been taken away, Your Honor.
Very well. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I have to say, I'm impressed. I don't think I've ever seen someone complete a defense so quickly and find the true culprit at the same time. Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, this is only a formality, but this court finds the defendant, Mr. Larry Butts, not guilty.
We succeeded.
And with that, this court is adjourned. And we will pick this up on the next episode of Phoenix Wright. See you next time.
Bye!